people, no matter which country they live in, maybe which religion or faith they belong to, always have had this question. Is is our future, like, is our destiny already written? So I guess I'm asking you the question of destiny or free will. Which camp do you belong into?
I believe in free will more than destiny, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the end of the day, it's the choices that you make result in a compounding interest of these small choices, and it gives you a certain output. So
Mm-hmm.
genetics, for example, there are two types of things we talk about genetics. We talk about phenotype and genotype. The genotype is fixed. There's not much you can do. But the expression of that particular gene, which is your phenotype, is dependent on lifestyle, environment, stress, and a lot of different things. So one of the misconceptions that we have in the world today is diabetes is a genetic disease. Some, to a certain extent, there is. There's monogenic diabetes, for example. There's a gene, a variation that affects it. But type 1, type 2, let's talk about type 2. If you look at type 2 diabetes, people say, my father, my mother had diabetes, so I'm going to get diabetes. That is not necessarily on your genes. It's in the lifestyle. Maybe you have a higher risk and sensitivity towards it. Maybe like in the well gene book, you see that you have carbohydrate sensitivity. So
Mm-hmm.
you are doing the wrong things, which leads
Mm-hmm.
to you having a disease called type 2 diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
But you have choices that you can make to help reverse it, to help change it. So it's on free will and the choices that you actually make.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting because I wanted to talk to you about genetics. As we see, like, I'm holding this book, the Well Gene book that we spoke about earlier, and it gives you so many of these data points, right? And like diabetes, for example, was there, if we take one step back, why don't humans all have like the same kind of genetics? Why do some people have, sensitivity to carbohydrates, and some people are more adapted to cold, and some people have like different characteristics? I just want to take it down one level basic, so the people who are understanding it, they get like a basic idea of why everyone's different in the first place.
Wow, that's such a technical and fundamental question,
Mm,
right? I think that is the uniqueness of us human beings as Homo sapiens. At
mhm,
the end of the day, we see each other as a full being, but actually it goes down to something that is super microscopic, extremely small, and how this small cell changes and grows, right? So if
mhm,
you go back to the fundamental, you are made out of one cell, right, which
mhm,
is the egg and the sperm, right? They are one cells, and
mhm,
and proliferation of this cell division that happens makes us. There is code, there is information, right? DNA strands that carries trillions of data, right? That makes you who you are.
mhm.
Now, through the evolution of time, stress, environment,